Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, we got the OJs playing in the background. I don't know if y'all know about that, but listen, it is symbolic for what we are going to be talking about today. All righty. So get ready. Get your pens, get your papers, get yourself together because it is going down up in here. The chat is open. Welcome to Sisters Let's Talk Biz Live, the show where we give Black women founders the real talk, the strategies, and the support to build, scale, and secure the bag. Ladies, my name is Candace Porter, and I am your community engagement host. And I am so glad that you're here. I really do mean that. I am just having such a great time with the conversations that we're having, and we're having some real in time for the moment conversations, right? So in this season, we are breaking down the Black Women Founders Roadmap to Surviving 2025. Ladies, we know every time we turn on anything, the radio, the internet, the news, it is always something crazy. All right. So we are here to just help you navigate this season with the Black Women Founders Roadmap to Surviving 2025. Because if we are keeping it all the way 100, okay, we're keeping it all the way 100. Please excuse me. We're keeping it all the. Woo! I'm sorry, ladies. We have a little bit of technical difficulties, all right? And that's all right because that's how we're moving through. We're going to keep it moving, all right? So if we keep it all the way 100, this year is more likely coming with some financial twists and turns, right? But listen, we're not going to panic. We're not going to even get caught up and sucked up in all that because we are here to prep you, all righty? So in this episode, if you're a Black woman running a business, all right, in this economy, you need this one. We are talking about tax policies, cash flow moves, recession proofing strategies to keep your business thriving and not just surviving, y'all. We're not doing that. We are looking to thrive, all right? In this year, in 2025. Oh, we looking, hold on, wait, there's a bar here. We're looking to survive and we're not looking to survive, but also thrive in 2025. Okay. Yes. All right. Listen, you know, I'm gonna get a little something going there, but we have the money team here. Y'all, if you don't know who the money team is, don't even worry about it. We got you covered. After this episode, you will absolutely know who they are and what they do and how they are going to do what help you. Okay. So we have Shay, Mcknuckles, and Coach Anita and Tiara, who's going to be breaking down what's new with tax policies and what that means for you and how you can keep more of your money. Because listen, everything is going on and we need to keep more of our money. The must track business metrics that keep you profitable, even in the midst of this what? Chaos. All right. And last but not least, we're going to talk about how to structure your cash flow so you're always ahead of the game. Listen, we ain't trying to play catch up. We trying to be ahead of the game. And that is what we are going to talk about today. We know that the White House is trying to shift some things up and shake some things up, but listen, we ain't going to get caught slipping, okay? We're not. So before we jump in, ladies, you know we got to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. Always make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're right here on YouTube. So please, if you can just take just a half of a second, go over, click the subscribe button. Make sure that you get notified when we're going live. Ladies, we have about 2 more episodes left and you don't want to miss this, all right? So go and subscribe. We'd love for you to do that in real time. And hey, even if you went subscribed and come back to the chat is open and tell us, hey, I'm in here. We would love to see that. Join our weekly join our Sistahbiz Facebook community. It is popping over there. You can RSVP for the episodes, catch replays, and most importantly, you connect with other powerhouse sisters who are talking the same language and look like you. Listen, we need that right now, okay? Ladies, be sure to stick with us. Stick with us until the end because we've got a special freebie to help you take control of your business finances in 2025. So I believe I have said enough, and I am going to bring on stage the founder of this amazing community, this sisterhood, our girl that we call Coach K. Can we give it up in the comments for Coach K? Hey, Coach K. I love how we always start with a little dance. We got to get a little. How you doing today, Coach K? How you feeling? Oh, you know what? You're just on mute, and I want to make sure that we can all hear you. And then we'll get this thing moving. There you go.
I said, I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
Ooh, you know what? I'm feeling like I'm ready to get into these streets with this conversation. Okay.
Hey, Quiver. I'm a Quiver girl.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Hey, Quiver. Look at the chat is popping already, Coach K, and I'm here for it. Listen, I am so, listen, we're here for it. All right.
We need to be in community, and we have to dial in to see what's going on in this crazy world and figure out how we're going to game plan and get through it together.
Do you hear me? That's exact. What's up, Basquiat? We always... We love a cameo from Basquiat, and
that's Basquiat. Y'all gonna have to just. It is just. I'm sorry.
I love it. Don't ever apologize. It's so amazing. So, ladies, we are going to shift into the segment of our show that we call Sis. Did you hear? Because this is the part of the show where we break down what's really going on in the world of Black business. Now, you already know we can't run our business in a vacuum, okay? Every policy shift, every headline, all of that can hit and make us feel like we're at rock bottom, and it'll hit fast because that's how the news comes to us. But we're just going to take a little bit of time and talk about some current events. Can we do that, Coach K?
Let's do it. What we doing? Okay. What we talking about? What happened? What had happened?
Okay, so here's what had happened. Okay, let me just break down a couple of things for you. So there was a Women's Day event that has been happening for the last 3 years in Minnesota. Okay, now with all the shifting and all the things that's going on, the founder of that Women's Day event said, Amazon, that little money you gave me, you can go ahead and take it back because I don't want it. And I was like, oh, okay, so you. You just giving back money? And then she was like, yeah, because I'm acting like I had a conversation with her because we probably did. And she's like, yeah, because I'm leading with my values. And I said, okay. So I like.
First of all, you're not talking to her. You do not know her.
Oh, well, I might. I don't know. I probably went to Minnesota for a little bit. But what would you say to that, Coach K? Like, she gave them their money back.
Okay. So context for everybody that's watching, if you don't already know, Amazon is on those list of folks that then lost their mind and released their DEI values and programming and funding and resources and efforts. And so they are on the list of targets and all the companies. So, you know, when we think about boycotting and like withdrawing our support from certain organizations, corporations, places where we spend, Amazon's on that list for many of us. And so she is, I think I heard she was an organization that is similar to Sistahbiz, like they offer technical assistance and resources for Black women. Mm-hmm. So she gave back the grant money that they had given her. That's what you're talking about? That one?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So first of all, I want to know what the chat think. I want to know, would y'all have given the money back? That's my question. I want to know who's giving the money back, who's not. I want to know.
Coach K.
Kalia said, I want to be in a position where I can give the money back because my business is enough. I say this is how I feel about it. I think that you do what you feel you need to do, what you are able to do, and that's the way you need to move. Everybody has a unique context and unique situation, and you ain't in nobody's wallet and in nobody's house, so you can't tell them what to do. That's the first thing. As for me and mine, I feel like I ain't giving nothing back because I believe deeply in reparations. So everything you gave me, you owe me on behalf of my ancestors anyway. So
that part. Yep.
what's next? What's next?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Coach K. Like we giving money back that y'all, no, you already gave it back to me. It's kind of like giving back an engagement ring. Like, no, I'm actually gonna keep my stuff. So no.
I don't know if that's the same thing.
I don't know. I'm keeping my stuff, okay? You gave it to me, so I'm keeping it. But you want to know what? Speaking of engagement and marriage and all of that, okay, Meghan Markle is in the news, okay? We already know about, listen, we talking about royalty, okay? But when I heard about her in the news, it was always something negative, right? So with Love, Meghan, I believe, is her new Netflix show. All right. So she has this new Netflix show, and I don't want to compare her to Martha Stewart, but she's doing some,
It's
you
giving
know, home,
HGTV.
yeah, it's given HGTV, it's given Homemaker, it's given all of that. But when I heard about it, it was always something negative, like, oh, she's, she's using this and she's using that. Like Black women can't live in luxury. And so I was like, let me just go and check it out for myself. And when I checked it out, I was like, what are we mad about? Like, are you guys mad that a Black woman is actually moving this way and like able to do these things because Martha Stewart has painted the picture? Have you heard anything about this, Coach K?
You know, I didn't know. I don't understand what the anger is either. I haven't seen the actual posts that are really attacking her, but I have seen people responding to the posts that are attacking her. So I know she's being attacked in the social media around the show, but I haven't seen the post to see exactly what they stem from. But my thing is like, I tried to watch the show and it ain't for me, but why are we attacking her for getting her money? Megan, get your money.
Get your money, honey.
Exactly. And the rest of these shows are on here doing the same stuff. They ain't putting no seasoning on their food. They in here, creating bath salts and stuff and all the things, and ain't nobody bothering them.
Nobody. So we agree, Megan, get your money, honey, and keep on looking. Oh, but I do love that she be having like the sister girls on her show. She has the Black music on her show. Honey, I'm for it. So I'm like, go ahead, Meg. Do you, boo-boo. Do you. Now, I just want to shift into one more thing real quick. I keep on hearing, because there's so much going on with the government, right? Are they getting rid of the IRS or are they keeping the IRS? What are we doing? Are we paying taxes this year or are we going to get...
Listen, you trying to get rid of, they fully gutting the MBDA. They ain't removing it from what I understand because they can't really by law right now, but they are gutting it for the most part, meaning completely defunding it for the most part, aside from anything that's required by law, which is, subject to, I guess, interpretation. So we'll figure out what that looks like. But for the most part, they're basically saying y'all can sit there and do nothing for nobody. And so I feel like you doing all these closing of these agencies, you better close down that IRS with everything else you talking about closing down.
Come on. Goodbye.
I feel like this is why we need the money team, because I want to ask Shay, do I need to pay my taxes this year or not? Can we get some intel?
Listen, we talking to Shay, y'all. We are going to talk to Shay about this because I keep on, every time I look around, they like, we keeping the IRS or not? And I'd be like, not, because, and also, what about those last couple of years? So don't worry, we gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So with that being said, Coach K, it's time to move on into our show. We have such an amazing show for you ladies and gentlemen today. I never want to discount the fact that we do have some gentlemen in the chat. You guys are welcome and thank you. But I am going to bring to our virtual stage, if you could, in the chat, put your hands together, or you can put whatever you want, okay? We are going to add Shay to the stage, Tiara to the stage, and Coach Anita to the stage.
I see you, Coach.
Ladies, welcome. I am going to give all of you an opportunity to just introduce yourselves, but we are really going to get into this money talk today. So, Tiara, if you can just let us know what you do and about your business. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, you're on mute. Perfect.
I'm on mute. Yes. So I have my own bookkeeping business called Plan to Purpose. But I'm also working with these two lovely ladies with the money trifecta as the bookkeeper. And so, yeah, I'm the one in QuickBooks for you, doing all those things that we want to avoid and not look at, but we need to look at. Yeah, I love all the numbers and getting all that organized for business owners.
Thank you so much, Tiara. Listen, I heard a business trifecta, and every time I hear that, it makes me feel a certain way. So I'm good with that. Shay, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure. I'm Shay Mcknuckles. I am the tax strategy, tax planner, and then our team handles the tax preparation for all the businesses within the Money Trifecta program. So we are all things tax related. We love it here. We know y'all love it here. So welcome.
Woo! Shay, what's up with the taxes? Okay. And last but certainly not least is our coach here at Sistahbiz, Coach Anita. What's up? Talk to us. My girl's like,
hey y'all, I gotta dance every move, right? So excited to be here. So excited to talk money and budgets and cash flow. So for those that don't know me, I get the privilege of being a Sistahbiz coach in addition to being in the money trifecta. So my role is to make sure all things cash flow management, budgets, that you guys are just feeling peace about that and not the anxiety that often comes with planning your money. So I'm so excited to be here and hopefully offer y'all a little bit of that peace and encouragement.
yes, Coach Anita. You know what, Coach K? I was thinking we probably should have had the money team and the peace ladies together at the same time so we could work through some of this stuff. But I am so excited to get into this conversation. So I just want to bring you up to speed if you are new here. We are in the season of our show, and it's all about equipping Black women founders with what they need to navigate the current state, right? We know that there's changing administrations and economic changes. So we thought it would only make sense to have this talk about money. All right. So in addition to all of that, we're right in the middle of tax season. So this is the timely conversation. Coach K, is there anything else that you want to just add to that before I get into some questions?
I just want to say this is an opportunity. First of all, I'm a money team client, meaning I'm a money team like all-star testimonial. She started from the bottom, now she here testimonial. Taxes was all jacked up, accounting was all messed up, bookkeeping was a hot mess, had some turnover in the company, been through a couple of accountants. I'm keeping it all the way 100 with you. You can bring in 6 figures, you can bring in 7 figures, you can bring in 8 figures, and you can still have your books be a mess. And that was my reality. And they helped me whip my stuff into shape. They are getting me all the way together. So I'm just super excited because I want that for every business owner. I want to make sure that this empire you're building, you're protecting it by understanding how to manage that money so that no one can take it from you, so that you're not giving it away, so that you're not leaving money on the table. So in this year, you really can't afford not to pull them numbers, as Coach Ashley said in episode 1. And I feel like the money team is going to help us think about like some things that you should be doing already, but that are super important to do when tariffs might be coming down the pipeline and when funding might be cut. So I'm just excited for y'all to have a little piece of what I have a piece of and meet these ladies, because they really are amazing. And they're not just amazing in the work that they do. They're amazing in character. They're amazing in spirit. They provide that social-emotional support for a sister, because I'd be like, oh, Lord, Tiara, I don't got receipts for that. What should I do? So talk to us, money team.
Oh my God, Coach K, thank you for that. I am so glad that you have experience with them and you can speak personally and transparently about what this looks like and what that did look like. And so, Tiara, I'm actually going to get started with you because word on the street is that they can't get to the other two before they come through you. That's what I heard. Okay. Because you are the one who takes the deeper look and really is able to clean up some things. We need to know what revenue is coming in and we need to be looking at that revenue through our books. So, Tiara, just talk to me a little bit about financial hygiene, okay? Why is now the most critical time for Black women founders to clean up their books and tighten up their financial records?
Yes. Yes, I actually like that term, financial hygiene. I've never used that, and I am going to use it moving forward. But yes, so I like to think, so the term that we also use too in bookkeeping is a cleanup for your books. And so how I like to explain that to business owners is think about building a house, right? You need your foundation to be stable and solid before you can move on and start to make it just roll out and start to make sense. So that's exactly what a cleanup is going to do for your books. We need to go in there and understand, why are you having these negative balances? Have your bank accounts been reconciled? Reconciliation is letting us know, so that accounting software is just recording information. It's not, we don't know if it's matching to what's actually in the bank account until we reconcile. So when I'm going in and I'm looking at the books and I see never reconciled, absolutely not. We need to make sure that we're doing that on a monthly basis. And so those are all the things that are happening inside of the cleanup for you, and what's going to get you all cleaned up for that financial hygiene part of it all. And then, we create your chart of accounts and all those things and making sure that everything makes sense. Because once your books are cleaned up, now we can start to talk about those financial reports. But if nothing is cleaned up, you're not going to get the informed information that you need to make the business decision that you need to make. So it all starts off there. So then we can pass it on to Coach Anita and she can get your budget going. And then you can head on over there to Shay and start to get your strategy planning. But we got to have something first. We got to start off with where we've been in order to know where we're going. So yeah.
Tiara, thank you so much for that. I know, and we are going to have an opportunity to kind of talk this through at the end, just in case anybody is feeling anything rising, like any traumas or anything. We'll talk about it in a little bit, okay? But Tiara, thank you so much, because you don't necessarily know what the mess is until you look at it and you get your hands dirty, right? And really dig in. So, Coach Anita, all right? I just want to talk to you about this because, listen, I know that you are budget queen and that you are looking at things and you are having us second guess. I have seen you in action several times. And every time I've left your presence, I've been like, ooh, girl. So I just appreciate what you have to offer, but I just want to talk about it. With the economy shakes, so does our cash flow, right? We know that things are a little iffy right now. So what's the smartest way for business owners to adjust their budgets when revenue is simply unpredictable?
That's a really good question, Candace. And I think an assumption of that question is that you have a budget. I just want to stay there for a second.
Stay there.
If you don't have a budget, my friend, and not one of those in your head where you like, ooh, I got this. I'm like, do this and minus this, and that's my budget. Like, not one of those, but like one on paper where you can actually use the good information that Tiara has given you in your books to say, all right, based on what I did last year, this is what I want to do this year. And you have a strategy and all of that stuff is on paper. Then we can talk about adjusting it. But if you haven't gotten anything on paper, just want you to stay there in that space of knowing that the first step is for you to get it out your head, because you're brilliant. This is your business. You want so much for it. And I love that. But we really need to get it on paper so other people can see it, so you can hold yourself accountable, so you can just make sure you know how you're moving and moving toward it. And so after you get that budget on paper, if your revenue is unpredictable, if things are moving, if you're feeling any type of emotion around that, you can start thinking about being super conservative with your numbers, right? So as you're creating it, yep, we all trying to get to 5 million, real quick. I love that. But we want to make sure we get that very strategically. So as you're building your budget, as you're adjusting, as the world is happening, don't be afraid to go back and revisit that budget you put on paper as frequently as you need to give you the confidence you need to move and really make those money moves.
Okay, here we go. I love that you said just stay there, right? Because I feel like sometimes we get uncomfortable in that part that we just want to move on to the next one. So I love the advice that you said of just stay there, feel the feels, get the work done so that you can move on and make sure that you're making the money and the money that's going out. Like you want to be able to predict these things, right? So thank you for that, Coach Anita, because Coach K, you got something you want to say? Come on.
I got something to say. First of all, I'm just going to do a little plug for Coach Anita. She does these VIP days outside of Sistahbiz coaching. She does her own VIP budget days. And I flew to Texas for my budget day. And when I say it was amazing, it was amazing. So it's worth your time to do that kind of work because there's a saying, show me your budget and I'll show you your priorities. And your budget really is a statement of what you're going to do. If you say that the way you're going to grow your business is by building an app, but your budget is funding other things, there's a conflict. If you say that your strategy is to make sure you're not working in the business, but that you train other people to work in the business, but your budget doesn't cover training or hiring, there's a conflict. So your budget is really the story of your priorities. It's the story of your business strategy. They have to match up. Your strategy has to match up with your budget. If they don't, you're not going to get done what you want to do, or it's going to be a rocky, messy road on the way. So I say that to say that with everything that's going on this year, Coach Anita, and maybe you could speak to this, I just feel like we might have to make some cuts. And so for those of us that either don't have budgets or we're not using our budget, like if we're not using our budget, we're not going to know where to cut. So like, how do you help people think about like when it's time to make cuts?
That's a really good point, Coach K. And you hit the nail on the head in terms of prioritizing, right? Because unfortunately, we don't have endless funds. And so being super clear about what your priorities are for the business helps you get super clear about the non-negotiable cuts and the ones that's okay to cut, right? So keeping with your example, Coach K, of I'm going to build an app. So if you're going to build an app this year and you have those development costs in your plan, in your budget, if I come to you and say, hey, we need to find $500, you're not going to the budget app stuff first, right? You go into everything but that because that's a priority in your growth strategy of your business. So making sure you understand where your priorities are will allow you to see clearly if you have to adjust and make some moves because revenue not hitting how you wanted it to hit, what you can't touch and the things that you can.
Very, very nice. And I know that maybe some of us are thinking like, okay, like maybe we go through that budget and we see that we got a couple extra dollars that we can spend, but all of that comes with taxes, right? So you have to make sure that when you're spending money or, you're just that all of that comes with taxes. And we have to be realistic about that because Uncle Sam, and I'm not talking about Samuel L. Jackson that was on the what was that? The Super Bowl. I'm talking about Uncle Sam, the IRS. Okay. And so Shay, I just wanted to just talk to you a little bit and ask you a question about the Trump tax effect. Okay. Now, what are the biggest tax changes Black women founders need to be aware of in 2025? And how might these shifts impact our small businesses?
Yeah, I think let me just preface this and say over on the money team, we call him Uncle Samuel. So Coach Anita coined that term. So Uncle Samuel, but there are some things that the Trump administration has been talking about, and literally they are just in talks. I know a lot of things he's been putting action into. I know early on you guys mentioned about will they get rid of the IRS? I'm with Coach K. That couldn't happen just because of how the IRS works for the United States of America. It literally collects taxes on behalf of taxpayers and redistributes that money across, various states, government funding. So it's so many useful parts of it. Now, what the Trump administration is wanting to do, which is different from the Biden administration added headcount or added more funding so that the IRS can add headcount to be able to do more examinations and audits and to uphold that entire compliance perspective. But the Trump administration is like, no, we don't need y'all in my business. Let's cut them out. Let's cut the employees out, which shout out to the federal workers. We do appreciate y'all. And I hate that one day you just woke up and didn't have a job. Like,
For real.
Yeah.
that's real life. Like, it's literally affecting people's life every day. But the Trump administration is cutting headcount. And so that may mean things like audits and examinations won't get assessed in time, right? So if you received your refunds this year, you want to make sure that everything is super accurate and correct and that you have the receipts to back it up with your bookkeeper to back up those deductions and expenses that you're taking, because you have to keep in mind when they cut that head count, it means that there will be a delay. So there may be a significant delay in terms of when the IRS may assess a tax liability or examine your tax return. So you just want to ensure that before you file this year that all of your ducks are in a row, because it may come 2 or 3 years later where the IRS is finally catching up saying you cannot take this deduction, which is really important in regards to why you want to understand what's on your tax return and what's being filed.
Shay, thank you so much. And when you were saying back it up, that just puts me back in the mind frame of the work that Tiara is doing, right? You have to know what your books look like, right?
Yeah.
So Tiara, we actually gonna back it right back up to you, all righty? A lot of business owners, as we've heard, are avoiding bookkeeping until tax time, right? They think, okay, well, let me get this together in these first couple of months and then I'll be ready for taxes. But we hear that that's a little bit of a major trap from what Shay is saying. Like, you probably shouldn't be doing that. You should be taking care of this ongoing. So what are some of the common mistakes you see founders making when it comes to tracking their money, and how can we fix it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the very common one is when we mix personal business transactions. And so we want to make sure that we keep those things separate. However, what I like to say is you don't know what you don't know. And so until you're educated on that piece, then you're going to continue to operate how you need to operate to sustain your business. And so that's what's very important to us at the Money Trifecta as well, is the education piece. So we allow that percentage to be up to the client. How much do you want to know? But whatever you want to know, we're here to guide you through it. And so going back to the mistakes, however, though, is once you start your business, you want to immediately have that business bank account, that business savings account, and business credit card. You want to keep everything separate, business loans, everything. And so that also makes the bookkeeping a lot easier, of course, because we know to just connect those accounts because we only want business accounts inside of QuickBooks. However, if you are, the term that we use is commingling, that's fine too. That's all a part of the cleanup, is getting it separated, because that goes back to you only know what you know. So it's not that you're a lost cause. We're not just going to give up on you. Let's clean you up. And then once the cleanup is done, now you're good. Now you know what to do because we got your back. That's the whole point in the money team, is knowing that you're not in this by yourself. We're going to get you together and then you're clean, set to go. And so another mistake that I can think of is no supporting documents. I know we're talking about receipts here. And so, I spoke with Shay and found out, right, that the IRS guideline is over $75. So we start there. We know that the receipt management can be overwhelming. So we're going to start to at least providing supporting documentations for transactions that are $75 and over. However, if you have the receipts, bring them. There is no amount of receipts I am afraid to go through. Why? Because I know it is supporting you. I know that we're afraid of that word audit. And if it comes, you have it already. It's attached to the transaction in QuickBooks. And then you're also probably going to keep that physical copy if you want to. So that's something that I would say is also a mistake that we're making, is not having those receipts and letting it overwhelm us. But we have 3 different ways for you to provide receipts to us to make it more comfortable and more efficient for you as well. Another mistake that I can say, let me think. Reconciling your bank accounts, making sure that they're reconciled and matching to what's inside of what's actually in the bank. That's important too. You're not going to get the accurate balance on your balance sheet if you're not reconciling and making sure that those things are together. So those are the mistakes I would say. And now about fixing it, again, if you're with us, if you're on the money team, we have 3 different ways for you to provide receipts to us. And we're going to walk you through that process. In terms of commingling and mixing business and personal, we got the clean up. We're going to get you together so that you're set on your way. And then in terms of reconciling, that is monthly bookkeeping. So if we are doing your books, that's already set in stone and that's going to get done for you. But if you are, doing your own books or things like that, you want to make sure, come to us to at least know how. What does that look like? And get the education piece, if anything, because we don't want you messing up things further for yourself.
I just want to jump in the chat here for a second because Chris brought up something that maybe Shay can speak to. He said, and I don't actually know if Chris is a he or a she, but the comment says audits disproportionately impact lower income people since that's easy, low-hanging fruit. And so earn income credit, small business owners, deductions, while rich or wealthy people have an army of CPAs and attorneys.
Right. I think that it impacts those taxpayers who have those credits is because, one, those are the credits that produces the highest amount of fraud within the IRS. So they're already high touch points in terms of reviewing that information. So people misuse that a lot. So we like to ensure that when taxpayers are taking any of those credits, that they have that supporting documentation and that they are indeed eligible to do it. Now, I won't say that it's disproportionate in a sense because you do have those high income producing businesses and people who are examined and audited as well. And believe it or not, we work with businesses who generate $2 million, $5 million, $8 million. And their books are not together too. Like how Coach K mentioned, like you can have a 7-figure, 8-figure business and they come to us because their books weren't together. So it's very possible, even though you may assume that they have a team, that team is not there, right? It's a lot of businesses who are still bootstrapping. Yes, even at the $1 million marks, and we've seen it plenty of times. So that's why we bring them over to Money Trifecta, have Tiara clean up the books, forecast the income with Anita, and tax plan and tax strategy with me to ensure that they get on the right track. Because believe it or not, the same struggles that are at the low-hanging fruit are still the same struggles where we presume those big businesses are doing a much better job, or those high-income earners.
I'm guessing that person may be also just kind of speaking to that 1% top Tesla population that's getting away with murder because they have the resources to do so.
Yeah, and then you do have to apply strategy, right? And many people like to say, oh, I want to be like Elon Musk or Donald Trump and not pay any income taxes. Well, what most people don't understand is there are numerous types of taxes that's being assessed on one tax return. So we have clients who have a zero tax liability, so they essentially pay zero income taxes. However, they may have a self-employment tax, right? Because they have a business and have some leftover income from there. They may have capital gains taxes because they sold some assets. They may have, you know, an early retirement tax because they took out of their retirement prior to that. So there are numerous types of taxes that are being assessed on one tax return. So it's very popular to say, I have a zero income tax liability. That doesn't necessarily mean they paid zero taxes for the federal income tax, because the federal income tax has numerous taxes that are being assessed on one return. So that is something to keep in mind. So we have a lot of clients. We tell them, hey, you live tax-free for the entire year. You just have to pay your self-employment tax, which is like your Social Security and Medicare tax that business owners are responsible for paying, being that they are the employer and the employee. So you have payroll taxes. There are many types of taxes, which is why in Money Trifecta, we take an educational approach so you can truly understand the type of taxes that are being assessed on your return and ensuring that you're prepared for that.
So Shay, I gotta say, Candace, I gotta ask one more thing. I gotta ask her to speak to one more thing. Well, maybe more than one more thing. But if I see one more person on Instagram talking about pay your kids, all you gotta do is set up the LLC and then move it to the S corporation and then pay your kids, and they throw these little things out there, and they throw these tips out, and they're like, you missing out, you're not, and you call this, I've heard you call this advanced tax strategy.
Yeah.
And I see it too, where a lot of people, you don't need an S corp yet.
No,
like you don't.
Can we stop? Can we just not? Like, we say in Money Trifecta that there are levels to this. And just because you're not at that level now doesn't mean you can't graduate to that level. But thinking you're somewhere that you're not has severe consequences to them and high tax implications that people need to understand. You want to hire your kids, but you're not even producing a profit in order to truly take advantage of that deduction. You want to be an S corp, but every year your business is taking a loss. So why are you truly an S corp? Because it still passes through to your personal taxes. You're not separating your business and your personal. It's still filed on your personal tax return. The S corp is more like an informational return. So you want to understand where you are. I understand a lot of people love the sophisticated tax strategies because they sound good, but we aren't doing things just because they sound good or just because the who's who is doing them. We are customizing your tax plan and your strategy based upon what your business is actually producing. So just keep that in mind. Like, sometimes you're just not there yet, and it's totally okay. So we want to give you the education so that you grow into it, because the last thing you want to do is have the IRS calling you saying, hey, now you have penalties because you had no idea what you were doing. Being an S corp has severe consequences. If you're out of compliance, the IRS could terminate your S corp entity status, and then you're no longer eligible for 10 years. So who wants that for any business, right? So you want to ensure that your whole structure is set up appropriately and that you're prepared to take advantage of those documentation, of those tax strategies. And one other thing, let's stop saying we make too much money, that's why we owe. That means you're just not tax planning. That means you have no strategy. So when I hear that, it's not a real thing, people. Like, it's not. If you hear Donald Trump saying that they don't pay any taxes, you can't say you owe taxes because you make too much money. It's not a thing. Okay, you're just not.
Candace, can I add one thing to Minister Shay's preaching over there? That's so good. The other thing that's super important as we on Instagram looking at their Instagram strategies is making sure you understand the cost implications of the things you do, right? So one of the requirements you may or may not know is when you are S corp entity, you have to pay yourself on official payroll, right? Mm-hmm. There is a cost that is associated with running payroll every 2 weeks. You can no longer transfer from your business account to your personal account whenever you feel like it, whatever amount you feel like paying yourself. You have to be an official employee on payroll, and there's a cost associated. So when you're making these moves and thinking about, I'm going to change my business entity and I'm going to do this and do that, make sure you fully understand all of the costs that may come with you doing this strategy, and that you're consulting a professional to help you think through all of the things prior to making those decisions, because I know Money Trifecta have gotten a lot of people out of some twists and ties that they done did and didn't understand. Oh, I can't do that no more. No, ma'am, you cannot, because you chose to do this. So just be cautious, be slow to act and quick to consult, so you can make sure that you have all the information you need to make an educated decision.
And can I piggyback on that? Because I had a client that they literally closed down their S corp because once they found out the obligations and the tax requirements and how much they needed to be in compliance, they were like, we should have never done this. Let me go ahead and close it down, file this final return, and let's start over and get the advice from Money Trifecta to be able to build into that if that is something that we need. So you don't want to have a business that's already set up. You're making money. They have your EIN number, contracts. You have the branding, and now you have to create an entire new entity because you did something too prematurely. So,
wow. What? Ooh, okay. So I heard be slow to act and quick to consult. Did I have that right? That's so good. And ladies, I know that we have gotten a lot of information, and we are going to open up the chat to see if anyone has any questions. We'll only be able to get to just a couple of questions if you have a question for the Money Trifecta. All right. But before we get into those questions, I just want to see if we can just take just a little bit of time to talk about the overwhelm and the anxiety and the mindset shifts that it takes when we're talking about this particular subject. What advice could you ladies give to founders to help her regain control and feel empowered about her money again?
So one of the things I always say on my sessions, and I don't care how long you've been one of our clients, I'm back here. You got to give yourself grace. I'm always asking, who taught you how to build a budget? Who taught you how to manage your money? Who? And most of the time in our community, nobody. Yeah. So you have to figure this out yourself and just do the best you could with the information you had. Yes. And because of that, I want you to really give yourself grace. And it's okay if you're not where you think you should be. It's fine, right? I don't want you to stay using it as a crutch that nobody taught you, right? Because you're wise and you know that there's a better way, but you have to acknowledge that nobody taught you how to do it and you did the best you could with information. And now understanding that, you can figure out what you need to do to move forward in the way that you want to move forward. So my biggest thing is give yourself grace. Reach out to get the support you need, whether it's therapy, professional, whatever, because there's a lot of trauma that comes with this money stuff, our ancestors. Like, I could just say a lot, but it's a lot. You need to get the support and you need to give yourself grace.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Coach Anita. Tiara, what would you like to say in regards to this?
Yeah. One of the things that I am learning is that majority of the work is not so much tied in the bookkeeping part. And I think that's where my passion kind of grew for this field of work, is that it is about healing and that it is about trust, right? And finding that person, because this isn't someone that, we're going to get clients that are new in business. So now they need bookkeeping, but we're also going to get clients who have gone through professionals who have told them, you can trust me. I got your back. We're going to do this. And then they didn't. So now it's about me. Before I can even get to the booking part, right, and talk to you and say, okay, then we're going to do this and get excited with you. I now have to talk with you first and say, hey, you have this space now, because I'm an entrepreneur as well. So I understand needing that safe space to say, I don't know, right? As business owners, we are always told that we have to know. We're the business, we're the leader, we're wearing this hat and we got this hat. So where is my space to say, I don't know this? Who's going to educate me? So piggybacking off of what Anita just said, creating that space. Come as you are. It's right where you are. That's what leads to the procrastination. Oh, I first need to have this together first because I don't want her to laugh at me. I don't want her to look at me funny. and get that all the time in intro calls. So look, Tiara, I just want to brace you for, you ain't even got to brace me. There is no judgment here. We take you as you are, because I'm not thinking about where you are right now. I'm thinking about where we can take you, like as you are. So just giving you that safe space, because we understand, and the beauty in it is that we are Black women and we are entrepreneurs. We have that in common, so we understand. And so if you need that, I had a client who said, I just had a therapy session with you. Hey, if that's what it had to be first, then that's what it had to be. And I'm here. I was talking to that client and I was just like, I said that, okay, all right. There's some passion here. There's something there. And so when I realized that this is more of a calling for me, that this is where we're supposed to be. When we created Money Tribe, there's something here, and we are so excited for you guys. I feel like we are more excited. And so yeah, so I just say creating that safe space, and that's exactly what we're doing here in this field. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tiara. And Shay, we have about, go ahead.
Because Kalia said literally no judgment. Anita didn't even blink at my Uber Eats bill. Mine either. My Uber Eats bill is crazy. Anyway, I digress.
It's okay. And Shay, if you could just give us a minute, we have about a minute left. If you can just let us know this answer to this question, how could you ease some of it?
What we see a lot of times is that taxes come around every year, but it seems so quickly. And so people are afraid to file because of, like what Tiara said, they want to have everything together. And I don't expect for you to know everything. I'm the professional, right? So I want to educate you on the things that you don't know. And it's more like a discovery. Like, let's discover what is truly going on within your business, so you don't have to come all the way together. And especially if people always say, oh, I haven't filed in years, it's terrible. It's not terrible. It's like things that are very common, and people feel so isolated to think it's only them. And when I tell you it's more common than it's not common, it's like, so we can relate, and it's totally fine. We'll tell you exactly what we need and give it to you. We'll chunk the information for you so that you're not overwhelmed, because I know our team loves taxes, right? We love it, but not everyone does. And that's totally fine. But what I can say is that after working with us, you will feel more confident. You will feel more empowered to make decisions in your businesses based upon true and accurate data, and not just all the things that are in your head. So we're literally going to take all of those thoughts and pressures and in your head, and we're going to redefine that and reshape what that looks like to get you to your future self, right? We already know what that looks like. So the first step is just sign up, come to us, have a consultation, a quick call, and then we'll take it from there. We don't need you to drive the boat. We'll drive it.
Come on. I love that. I know, Coach K, I feel like going on.
No, seriously, y'all. I want us to have these kind of conversations in our community, because these are the things that will take a business out.
Yeah.
These are things that will burn you out. So even if the business is still alive, you don't feel alive inside. You don't feel the passion you felt for your business because you're staying up at night worried about these things. And so it's really important for us to get ahead of them. And for me, I feel that two things happened with me when I started working with the money team and when I started working with my CTO who built my app. So these are the first times in my business, I feel, where I really worked with experts that handled an arm of my business that was critical to my business, but they had more expertise than me. And so here's the myth and what I've learned. I thought, okay, you here now. I don't got to think about that. I don't got to do that. I don't have any parts of that. You build the app. Go ahead and go over there and build the app. You get the books. You go ahead. It's this myth of delegation where you think that delegation means that you don't have to be a part of the vision and the strategy for that arm of the company. You don't have to understand and guide and build with that person to make sure that your company and your goals and your strategy and all the things you're trying to do are very cohesive with that arm of the company. And it is a bad thing to think that you don't need to do that because you don't have that expertise. Actually, in reality, what it means is you have a lot to learn. So now you've done the right thing by hiring a CFO or an accountant who can teach you, a tax strategist who can teach you what you need to know so that you can make CEO level decisions around that topic and work with them to then execute the plan. And yes, you can delegate the execution and the implementation once they get what they need from you. But you have to first learn what your vision for that area of the company is, and then work with that professional to set the game plan in motion so you guys are on the same page, because whatever they're doing, I promise you, is connected to everything you're doing. So you can't operate in a disjointed way. And so I just want to encourage you that's where the lift is. And that's why it feels, if you could get your mind around the fact that, okay, first of all, like Coach Anita said, I wasn't taught this. I don't understand this. I don't know this, but I can learn. Your affirmation is, I can do this. I can learn this. I can lead this. I am a CEO. I can figure this out. And I have the right team next to me to help me figure it out. If you're committed in that way to that learning curve, and then you work with them, then when they get off the ground and things get running, it does get easier. But in the beginning, you have to be the person that learns how to read your financial statements with their help, that learns how to get them the right receipts that they keep asking you for. That understands the tax strategy so that you operate your books in spending and expenses in the right way. And cleans up the stuff and understands what got dirty and how they're cleaning it up. Even if you're not doing the cleanup, you got to understand it. Same thing with the app. If you're building an app, you have to work with the CTO to understand the specifications and how they tie to what your customers and your team actually need. There's a learning curve there. So I say all that to say that learning curve is scary. It does take time. It's annoying because you didn't plan on that. You were thinking you're going to be over here doing sales calls. And so you have to set aside time to do that work. But it is a part of making money. And a lot of that money you're looking for is right there in the books when you clean it up. You're going to find those money leaks. You're going to find that larger return in the taxes. You're going to find that app is making you more money than you thought it could because you sat down and did it right. And so there is money in all of this too. It still ties back to strategy. So you got to get the meditation, the prayer, the therapy, because money trauma is real, so that you can become a CEO who leads these arms of your company, even if you have experts by your side. You can't just leave. You got a babysitter. You don't just leave your baby there. You know your baby, how much your baby weigh. You know what your baby eat. You know what your baby allergies are. You understand. And yes, they're going to take care of your baby while you at work, but you know your baby. That's your baby. So thank you, money team.
Ooh, I mean, okay. All right. Thank you for that, Coach K. That was amazing. We ain't out here leaving our babies abandoned. Okay. We ain't doing that. I did just say earlier that there would be some time for questions, and I did see I seen Queen Ash said cost implications of the things we do. I'm not exactly sure if that was a question or if that was so. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat, or if we don't, I felt like you answered the Dear Coach question, Coach K. So I just want to know, like, what do y'all feel like? Y'all want to wait for a question, or you want to do?
Well, we have a question from Chubby Curls on consultations. I want to just speak to that. If you are looking for a coaching session with Coach Anita, Sistahbiz members can access Coach Anita for a coaching session. If you are looking to do actual work and hire for services, the money team is going to share with you how to do that and how to connect directly with them for paid services.
Okay. That sounds great. All right. Well, ladies, I think that's our time. I feel like we covered a lot in just a short amount of time. But before we get out of here, I know that you ladies have provided some treats. We like to call it a little treat for our listeners, a little treaty treat. So I will start with Coach Anita. Can you let us know what you have available?
Yeah, so we brought a group treat because we want all of y'all to experience all of this greatness, right? And like we said, it all works together cohesively. And so we would love to get on a complimentary consultation with you just to learn a little bit about you, your business, see how we can support you. And so we did drop the link in the chat for you to book that complimentary consultation. And as Coach K said, if you need some budget coaching, that is within the Sistahbiz community, you can always reach us there, and we'll be happy to support you wherever you are in your journey.
Thank you so much for that, Coach Anita. Ladies, please take advantage of the resources. They're right there for you. We don't have to feel this pressure when it comes to talking money. If there's someone available, there's a qualified team here that can talk you through this. So please take that link, sign up for that consultation, and let's get our money life together, okay? So ladies, I am just so thankful for this conversation. I thank you for what each one of you all bring individually and what you provide collectively. And with that, Coach K, is there anything else you want to say before I let our ladies go for the session?
It's tax time. Y'all need to call Shay and the money team. Do it now. Don't be waiting till the last minute. And a lot of these accountants and bookkeepers are busy right now. They already have a clientele. So just get your stuff, make your calls now. And even if the money team isn't your money team, you need a money team. So just know that you need someone to help you with bookkeeping. You need someone to help you with budget strategy. You need someone to help you with tax strategy. And so keep that in mind, that this is all relevant regardless of whether you get to work with the money team or not. So thank you again for coming out and for sharing your gems and encouraging our folks, because it is very much a critical part of all of our business success.
Absolutely.
Thank you
you
so
ladies. Thank you, ladies, so much. We'll be seeing y'all in these Sistahbiz streets, okay?
Yes, have a great one.
Bye. All right, Coach K. Woohoo! Everybody feeling all right? I just want to know if everybody's feeling all right. We did it. We did it. And that was such a great, great topic. I loved the information that they gave, and that, once again, that takeaway, right? We have a takeaway. So I just wanted to say about the Dear Coach question, we have that available. If there's something that you want to ask, we have a link for you to put that question in, and that question may be on the show. You never know. But if there's a question that you just feel like you weren't afraid to get answered, you were afraid to get answered today, please use that link so that we can get going with that. Okay, so I just have a couple of items. Speaking of house cleaning, I just want to do a little bit of a recap. All right, we are staying ahead of our tax changes, so you're keeping more of your money in your business. All right, know your numbers. I keep on hearing that over and over and over again. Know your numbers. Cash flow, profit margins, and financial reports matter. Get serious about budgeting and financial planning so you're not out here money naked with the economy shifts, okay? So if you're not a member yet, all right, we have a Sistahbiz community for you. All you have to do is go to Sistah.biz and you'll be able to do a membership there. We have all of our coaches. That's where you can get Coach Anita. All righty. Coach Anita she does a whole budget training that will save you stress and time. And she is the one who you can contact to get your consultation phone call through Sistahbiz as a member. All right. So Coach K, do you have anything that you want to add?
I think I want folks to know that, inside of our online membership platform, we have a variety of work groups where you can do this work. We have the budget planning work group, and it will walk you step by step, module by module, and Coach Anita is leading that work group. And so you'll go through each module. It'll give you the budget template. There's a audio and video presentation lecture. There's tasks and telling you exactly what to do that you can track. And then there's a discussion area. If you get stuck, you can tag Coach Anita and she can help you. She also does budget study halls in that group. So go into the suite and log in and check out the budget work group if you're interested in getting support with your budget. And again, if you're not a member, you can go and check out the suite for 14 days for free. and see what's going on in there. So go ahead and hit the budget work group up when you get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So today's resources that were given in the chat will also be in the YouTube page underneath in the description for this particular video. Grab somebody with you. Say, hey, girl, I need you to check this video out because they were giving us all the gems. So don't be scared of tax season. Y'all grab a glass of wine or some tea or something and watch this, please, because all the things were given here. All right. You got your water, Coach K. I see you. So again, ladies, we're going to be back next Tuesday. All right. We have Dr. Tiffany that's going to come and talk to us about the joys of building team and entrepreneurship and all of that. And I cannot wait to have this discussion. Everything has been so good, Coach K. Before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to say? Okay. All right. Ladies, until then, we will see you next Tuesday. Take good care of yourself and bye-bye. Okay.